50 some, and this VMix 10 with grog. So I thought, let me just do demos with that because I need some mugs. So, all right, so let me find my tools. That's what I was looking for right here. Okay, yes. Make sure I've got everything. Okay, these are my basic tools that I use all the time. Okay, screwdriver is just to get this bat out of here. And this is from 1987. That's why it's rounded from all these years. Because it wasn't just a flathead screwdriver. Just the basic wood stick, little needle tool, sponge, and this is my favorite rib that I like to use. And I was introduced to this when I started throwing for Lori, throwing some plates and stuff like that. So this is what I like. Okay, so, but I said I was able to get an idea of all the different shapes that y'all have. What's interesting, though, over here I've got three, Jen, Michelle, and Teresa, that all kind of have close to the same shape, which is interesting because it's a little wide at the top, a little wide at the bottom, a little bit of curve. So some are a little bit narrower at the top portion, and I'm looking at Jen's, and she's doing good, just a little bit of a curve and not much. And then you have over here, rounded with holly, and straight-sided but angled with Lee. Larry has got beautiful curves. And Kristen has got, I'm going to be very careful with this shape here. She said that down here was actually a little more curved, but it kind of lost some of that curve when she did it. So this is a Cone 6 clay. So she's trying to see how the 750 is going to work for her. She wanted something really nice and dark. So this is
so you carved out all the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you purposely leave a bunch of clay in the bottom to be able to carve?
Yeah.
No,
that's normally
feel the weight of this thing.
But it turned out a lot thinner.
There's no weight in this. It's just like
her too.
It's like air.
Oh my gosh. That is unbelievable.
Yes.
Scary. Oh my goodness. That is really light.
She's been doing some practicing. Yes, it's just amazing. Yeah, she did something like this. This is your second time? She's taken a couple of my different classes. This is the second one with the dinner. So she started something like this.
Oh, no, this is my first dinner. With the table. I did good to great.
Ah, that was the platter that you, yes, okay. I've got to remember, because you're teaching 2 classes with so many students. But she was doing something like this on some vases. And it was really beautiful.
Nice shape, too.
Yeah, very nice
It
shape.
is beautiful.
So she's trying to figure out the weight and stuff like that. Okay, I've got 1.5 pounds here. Okay, so let's see. And I've got this is the first time I've thrown on this wheel, so we'll see how this does. Huh? Yes. Well, I had to make sure that my bat system here fit this wheel. It's going to be a little stiff when I go to get it off. But this is a reversible bat system that I made when I was in school at Haywood. So what I try to do when I'm doing cylinders is I try to get an idea of how wide it's going to be at the bottom. So when I do this part here, I try not to go too much wider because this is a nice diameter here to start with. But when I open it, it will already automatically make it a little bit wider. So I'm trying to not go too wide, not too wide, not too flat. And you can see that I left some height here. And if anytime y'all have any questions, just let me know, okay? Because I'm using this hand and then just to compress it here at the top a little bit. It's the way that sometimes I'll do this. The fingers on top are actually helping push in the thumb. And sometimes, depending on the size, this actually helps me gauge, how deep it is. Okay. Probably need to go a little bit deeper. But I like to be able to have this wide like this, so it's easy for me to see how deep it is. And then I can go in with these two fingers here, and that's where I actually will bring that fingers across. There are many different ways of doing this, and this is just what I have gotten around to doing. My hands just know what they want to do. So I'm going to stop this so I can see how thick this is.
It's perfect.
Okay. Could maybe go a little thinner, but not too much, because you'll lose a little bit. So actually, I'm going to probably go a little bit thinner, because that's, to me, just a little touch thick. So, and with all pieces, you want to make sure you get that compression on the inside, going from the outside in, because if you don't do that little bit of compression, that's where the S-cracks end up happening from, because you just didn't get that little bit of compression. Okay. Let's try it again. And I will be doing this, like this, of checking the bottoms. Okay. To me, that's good. I don't want to go any thinner, because I said I'll lose that little bit. So by the time I leave, that's a good thickness for this size of cup. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that little hole in the middle. Okay, so you see already it's a little bit wider. Okay, so fingers on the outside. And what's neat, the way that this happens, I already have a place under here to put my fingers to be able to pull up. And when I do cylinders, I want to try to keep it at a cone instead of, because if I start like this, it's automatically going to go out. So if I try to keep it at a cone, that right there will just allow me just to keep, because I'm going to actually squeeze this in just a little bit to even start it. Instead of even trying to pull it, if I already start it like that, you can tell that I've already got that little bit of a cone shape. But
So you just leave enough room for your hand to get in there?
to start off with, yeah. To start off with. Okay? And I've given myself with this sponge, okay? And I'm taking my time. And sometimes, if with that centering, the way that I squeeze it in, sometimes I'll get it a little out of round. So what I will do is I'll take my fingers on the inside and the outside, and I'll hold this and I'll press a little bit to get it nice and centered. Then I'll press. I'll come up again, press, and that right there, if it was a little off, just gave me some very nice even, so it's not wonky or something like that, because that will sometimes happen. It can happen on a small piece like this. It can also happen on larger ones. So I'll take a minute or two, whatever I need, to make sure that it's nice and even going up. And I said I'm still trying to keep it at a little bit of a diagonal. And I like to just use my sponge and put the water exactly where I need it at. And see if this top goes a little bit wider, I can always go back and just let it remind it that it wants to go in. So I'm going to go back in here. Got to get fingers in. Okay, and again, I'm doing the pull. I'm not going too fast at this moment. And I'm seeing a little bit of a warp down there. And what I did is I got it too thin. See what had happened down here?
Okay, now that's my world. So
Okay.
what do we do?
Well, what it is though is I just felt it. It's really not too thin. But what happened is I got it too thin too fast. So you can see how much clay I still have here at the top. So by getting it too thin too fast, that's what's causing the warp. So what I'm going to do is get down here, and sometimes I'll use my rib. I'm going to push out a little bit, and then I'm going to use my rib. I'm pushing against it. And that right there just helped strengthen it. It got that a little bit of extra moisture off of it. And it pretty much got rid of it. I think I see it just a little bit. But that right there dried it a little bit. So hopefully, if there was extra moisture in there, that would continue to warp. So what I'm going to do is just put a little water on the inside there. And I'm not going to go back down there until I get some of this thickness out of here. I'm going to just color it in just a little bit. Because you can see.
And start warping it.
Mm-hmm.
Does it do any good to try to pull some more clay up into it?
I don't have a lot. That's why I said I over pulled it to begin with down here. So
But
that's
if
why
you
I'm,
do have some extra in the bottom,
yeah, you can do that. Or,
because I've even tried
to
throwing
push down. Yep.
and,
Because, I mean, you can try that, and it could be that I just made a big mess with this, with that little bit. Because sometimes, and this is a clay that I'm still not real familiar with, so maybe I should have gone with 850, which I'm more. So what I'm trying to do is see if I can actually throw down into it. But you can see what it's wanting to do. So, yes, I made a mistake in doing my demo with y'all.
No, I don't think so, because
Yeah.
that shows us how to correct things.
Let's see. Because what happens sometimes also is it can be thin, it can be a little soft, and what was happening is I just looked at this also, is that when I was pulling up, this got dry, and so my pulling up like this was causing a drag, and that will also cause that to ripple. So there's many different things that could happen. So I'm still trying to work with this instead of starting over. I'm going to just work a little bit right here. I'm trying to keep an eye on that place down there. Just trying to get this